I wish you guys the best with your Yum Yum podcast.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Ryan.
How are you doing?
I'm not great.
Why is that?
It's just a time of change, and change sometimes involves loss.
That's it, yes. I like, as someone who has to listen back and edit the podcast, several times you're like, things aren't great because of change. The change up, of course, of loss, but also the change of going back in time in a way too, because some genitals got some action in this episode in multiple ways of that meaning, but we shall get there. First of all, I'm Ryan, that's Rachel, the hosts of Yum Yum Podcast, the only podcast brave enough, wise enough, smart enough to name ourselves after a moment from Star Trek Discovery. No one's ever done that before, and no one ever will. Because no human has ever watched Discovery all the way through and then rewatched it. Only we've done that because we are beyond the pale. And we named ourselves Yum Yum because of this iconic moment from the Season 2 finale of Star Trek Discovery. Rachel and I, we love science fiction television. We love watching it, talking about it, and that's what this podcast is. It's a great excuse to do exactly that, but also to remind everyone about that Yum Yum moment from the Season 2 finale of Star Trek Discovery. Rachel, you know about it, I know about it, but I think it's always wise to reinforce the message that this scene actually happened.
Yes.
In a show where it should not have happened. If it happened in the series that we are currently covering on the podcast, Killjoys, we wouldn't be saying anything about it. It wouldn't even register on the radar.
No, it wouldn't. But what registered is your yum yum laugh of this episode.
Wow, you're already jumping way ahead, Rachel. We haven't even talked about the episode itself. You are hungry because the yum yum moment from Star Trek Discovery was funny. It made us laugh. It's a person licking their lips, throwing their hair back, and saying yum yum as an answer to a question. And Killjoys does this all of the time to a funny degree. I've got a question for you, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're a first-time viewer of Killjoys. This is my first ever time rewatching the show.
Uh-huh.
We've had a lot of yum-yum laughs and yum-yum moments, but if yum-yum, as it was portrayed in Star Trek Discovery, did show up at any point,
wouldn't bat an eye.
Would it be in your top 10 list of this show?
How could it not be? How could it not?
Would it be number 1?
Oh, I don't think so.
It doesn't beat in season 1 Dutch going up a catwalk and saying meow.
No, that's not the one that got me the most.
Oh, what got you the most?
Johnny pulling his shirt down.
Oh, that's a physical thing.
Yeah, but it's still...
Johnny seductively trying to seduce a man and showing a little bit of that chest hair, just a little tease.
It's still the thing that...
But how about...
I think that I've lost it the hardest.
That and the assassin's handshake. Yeah, Rachel's already losing it. But how about we center ourselves and hear a bit about the episode that we watched and that we're about to dive on into and discuss fully.
I went for a slightly different approach with this summary, which I don't know if Ryan's going to enjoy or not, but either way, it's what I've gone with. Technobabble, banter, sex, and death.
Is that the name of the episode?
No, that's my summary of this episode. My summary of the episode, The Kids Are All Right.
The penultimate of this 4th season. Interesting that you broke it down to those base elements, because I'm doing something a bit off book as well. I'm going to read you the IMDb summary.
Oh.
Here.
Was mine not good enough?
No. I had this prepared because you will understand very quickly. It's back to the rack for Team Awesome Force as they seek to rescue Westerly's missing children. Zep and Pip grow closer. Zep, Rachel. One of the Marx brothers. No H at the end of that one. Zep. And that summary has been like that since this episode aired. It's never been changed. And I have the power. I could go, anyone could go get an IMDb account. I already have one. And request a change or make an alternative summary. But I'm not going to do that. And I bet you none of the listeners will do that either, because we all respect Zep and Pip growing closer together.
It's not even right. Really? Like
It's not right.
it's not like they're not growing any closer. They were already banging.
But it's closer in a different sense than the banging, Rachel, please. But now it's time to talk about what made us laugh in this episode, and what was the thing that made you guffaw?
Oh, this episode didn't have a clear got me moment. I found myself a lot more confused or bemused in this episode than amused. But I'm going to go with Davin cheating so that he can keep his gun, because I enjoyed the constant banter between Dav and Fancy that was in this episode and their ongoing bet, and I enjoyed the conclusion to that.
My laugh will directly relate to the next big important thing we will have to discuss, which is Turin threatens to hit Dutch straight in the box. And I had a good laugh at that. I've been saying for many, many, many moons now, a lifetime you could say, that Killjoys should not only bring back kicking people in the genitals, but they should be brave enough to make it a cunt punt when they do. And they weren't brave enough to do it, but they were brave enough to hint that they could.
That's right. This episode, there's a nut shot. There's a nut shot. It's now been 0 episodes since the last one.
We have gone through such a journey. Rachel, you were obsessed with it. Killjoys, the first handful of episodes, had people getting kicked in the balls left and right.
They went in for it, and then it was a barren wasteland of, I think, 27 episodes.
Do you think that this has opened the floodgate? Do you think we're going to get more?
No.
You don't think the final shot of the season could be, someone getting kicked there?
No, I don't think so.
The lady tries to come out and Anila kicks her?
No.
Straight in there?
I don't think so, because that would deliver on something that we both want. We I want to watch these characters get kicked in the junk, and you want a cunt punt. So
we can't have the best of both worlds.
Killjoys consistently delivers on something that I didn't know that I wanted, and I want that, so it's not gonna give me it.
Now, you're sounding bitter, but you should be thankful. We have some people to thank for this episode. We have the writer and we have the director.
Yep.
They're the people that
Stefan
came in.
and Julian are back.
Yes, Stefan the director and Julian the writer, they're back. They're people who have done episodes before, people who have done this season before. And do you think it was Julian's script or Stefan's direction that had the man getting kicked from behind in the balls?
I don't know if it was either, because I would put that more down to the fight choreographer.
Yes, I imagine. But I imagine the director has to have some say in that. They have to
Yeah.
shoot it. But so you're thinking it's more on the day of. You don't think
No, I think they
Julian-
would have practiced that.
You know what I mean. It's not in the
So,
script, you're saying.
No,
It's not
I don't
like
think it's specified, and Davin kicks from behind.
I would love to read a script.
So it's not
of this
like
show.
it's not immediately clear how much of a nut shot it is, because it's like, did he get more butt? Did he miss and get between the legs?
The scream made it sound like it was a nut. At least one. Probably the left one. The one closer to the heart. So, here's the thing. We have had so much to thank for this episode because the bitches are back. Julian may or may not have written someone gets kicked in the balls, but he did give us 5 bitches were dropped. Yeah.
What?
5. And I felt
they were holding back on us for so long.
That means the next episode has to have at least 18 to kind of catch us up to where we were this time last season. So we'll keep an eye.
I'm horrified.
I can't wait to tell you what the name of the next episode is. It's going to, be real good if it has bitch in it, won't it?
I've already seen what it is.
Oh, you spoil sport, Rachel.
IMDb. So
How could you?
IMDb.
You've done it again?
IMDb.
Yeah, blame Amazon.
IMDb. So I clicked on this episode to go look at the writer and the director, and then I clicked back, and typically it'll load back in where you had it scrolled to.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, at the very bottom now, Rachel, because this is the penultimate
and I decided
episode.
to skip down, and I was very angry.
These green bastards are stealing Westie kids, and we don't know why. Interstellar won't answer, the 9 walked away, we're all that's left. The Holland took our home, but not our goddamn hearts.
We've got a lot of energy happening. Perhaps you could even say it's yum energy, because this episode was magnificent. This was really entertaining. It's grand. It's appropriate for where we're at in the season, and it's done by a skilled hand. Every character serves a purpose in this episode, or at least gives you the sense of one. Each plot that we had was engaging in some way, shape, or form, and I really, really liked that there was a sense of momentum in the episode. So when we get to certain events that you could perhaps already foresee, the momentum is just barreling you towards it, and you're dreading it in a way. Me as a rewatcher, I knew certain characters were going to not make it at the end of this episode, and the dread was just there, but also the episode is very fun. It's a very funny episode. It's a very light episode, but it's got all of this drama, and with the direction too, there was a lot of style. There was a lot of hero shots. This felt very superhero-esque in its direction, more than any other that we've had in the series so far. Lots of glory shots of the ensemble to really hit home that this is a found family.
And that it is. I found myself struggling with this episode a little bit, though, because there are so many quality things here. The performances are still amazing. The characterization is superb. But there are multiple moments that feel really clunky. And they stand out in a specific way because they're problems, like the problems with those moments or with those scenes are not ones that haven't touched Killjoys before, but they haven't been here in this way in a little while.
What do you mean by that? What are some examples you would say?
Like the techno babble comes to mind. There's some moments where it just, you see what's coming before the show really wants you to, and so it kind of undercuts it, but it's also like you're not waiting too long before it does happen.
The pacing is very quick with this episode, considering,
that
and a lot
there's-
is covered.
There's a lot in here, and some bits do feel a little rushed, but they're purpose for why they're feeling rushed, and it makes it hard to untangle for me a little bit on like watching it for the first time. I feel like you would have more clarity.
Well, we have been looking at this also from the standpoint of these names that keep recurring, and I think what this episode has going for it is that pacing. It just flies by, but it doesn't feel like we're rushing through anything. But it does, in a way, kind of obscure the fact that we do have just redundant things here. And I think that's been an issue we've had with Julian's scripts in the past, even though he's written some of the best episodes, especially in this season. But there are certain elements that I just go, I feel like we could have just had this be a line. And with certain elements, like you've stated, the technobabble, for instance, why does that not work in an episode like this? And we stated it during our reaction, because we're watching this, and you can find our reactions on Patreon and YouTube. The scene is nothing but the technobabble, and they try to give it some flavor with some jokes and some lines, but the scene itself only serves as exposition for technology talk. And it's very flimsy in that way, while other Killjoys episodes, when they have their technobabble scenes, the scene is more than just that.
Yeah, and Johnny is really burdened by it in that scene as well. Whereas other moments, there is a little bit more back and forth with who is really lumped with it. But saying that out loud, I'm like, is that really true? Like, because, or is it just that we've had a lot of scenes more recently where it's been like Johnny and Zeph talking over a problem rather than somebody having something explained to them?
What does that mean? Say it in English, Doc. That type of talk. Yeah, we don't care for that. And another issue with the technobabble in this episode in particular is it's a setup to a subplot that has no reason to be here.
And it has no weight to it. Because, like, it is just like the plot element that it is there to deal with. It is a barrier that is placed just so they can break it down.
Exactly. So, for context, the Hullans have a shield up, and we need some gizmo that can help break things down with it. And they come across a thing through a certain means, and they have to go down to this planet that they have to go down to this little commune that's run, that's this cult village.
By Junior Kooky Pants.
Yeah, by a bunch of kooky cultist people, and it's just an excuse to have an action scene, and our characters wear silly outfits, specifically wigs, and get a thing. And if it wasn't for the fact it's a thumbnail on IMDb for this episode, you would almost forget that this happens at all, because it's such a nothing burger. It is just we have to get from A to B to C. And in season 1, this would have been an episode. Not a good episode, but it would have been an episode of the show, but they just skipped past it. And like I said before, the pacing of this episode is at such a rate that it almost makes you not pay attention to how much of a nothing this adds up to be. And I am bringing it up because I would rather you spend the time on other things and just make this problem, as you said, Rachel, be solved in another way that isn't just so obviously we made ourselves a problem in this episode, now we must break it down and solve it.
It's infuriating to feel like they are serving the plot, not serving the story, because it has that sense of this is the mechanics of an episode. We've got to have this, this, and this, and we've got to have that there, and we've got to have this part here. And it's just like, it feels even more aggravating because you lose the rack in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And those kids are heading back to Westerly, where I don't think they're going to be safe now anyway.
Mm.
So it doesn't feel like they've gained as much ground. And with how much emphasis they put on it, and we've lost 2 characters, but they're not treating it like they've lost.
They are and they aren't. Like, we've won, but at a cost.
Yeah.
And there is definitely that sense of pathos in the episode. But, yeah, there's just something about the way it all comes together that doesn't fully work. And yet, I still like this episode. I think it still lands the plane very nicely because it just glides and it really gets into those characterful things and those emotional moments and utilizes the large ensemble.
I can't, Seth.
Will never forgive herself when she can't save me. But she will get over me dying to save you.
Something that we have had many discussions about is this dealing with overarching stories. We basically start off with that with we have to drop off Jack and reconnect with Dulcea. What has she been up to this entire time? And it doesn't really matter to the rest of the episode. It is just we have to tie this off because this has been an ongoing thread. But it's a delicate balancing act because it's not necessarily I'm saying the episode should be about that anymore, but the episode's doing other things, so it just feels like what it is, which is necessary for the season as a whole.
And that's the way that I feel about a bunch of things in this episode. It feels necessary. It feels required. And there isn't a flair or a passion to the way that they are doing it. Because they've got to get so much done. But it is not failing the way that the season 2, not season 2, like the second episodes of seasons used to. Because they used to really have this problem. Not that, like, the penultimate episodes didn't typically have this kind of thing going on. It was like the second episode back where they just tried to do too much too quickly.
And I sense between us there is a different level
and I
of
think people who
tolerance.
saw the reaction already know that going into this discussion.
Yeah, because like I like all of this stuff, but I'm still able to stroke my chin and go, but does this actually work? Or did they just get me in the hype of it all? Did they get me in the emotions of it all?
When, like, in our breakdown, I wrote down, do we forgive this episode its sins? And I didn't know what my answer to that question was. But I was like, we need to talk about it. Because it is something that has mostly gone away in Killjoys. Like, it is more... It has one or two things that, like, we might have a gripe with. But in this episode, the more I look back on it as a single episode, the more disappointed I am in it, even though I did enjoy it.
That's interesting. I'm not feeling disappointment. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm still contemplating elements. Like, for instance, one of the great things about the season that this episode is invested in has been the journey of Turin as a character. He actually has a purpose. He actually has a character arc, a journey. That has been really nice to see play out. And I thought Turin, he had a lot of valid points in this episode that weren't counted or like weren't shot down, because that happens so often with Turin as well. He either has a valid point but it's shot down, or his points are so obtuse that you are against him many times over. But this episode, it was really thought-provoking as well as, again, emotional, because his points aren't just intellectually stimulating, but they're emotionally stimulating as well.
Yes, and he's still doing it in a way that is true to the character. And it's not always he does the thing and that kind of relieves the tension, which is how I felt when they have that moment of, like, everybody's waiting on him to give the order and then he just walks away.
Mm-hmm.
And
they all make a joke about his position. But it feels much more like a needling of a friend or a family. He feels much more part of this found family than he's ever done in the rest of the show.
Yes. Yeah.
He's no longer just their cranky police chief.
No.
Who says, you're a maverick.
Yeah. That also reminded me of that moment where I thought that he was going to give them a bunch of secret warrants, because he's just like, here's this secret base. You're going to be doing stuff for me on the side now.
But no, now everything's in the open, that they are much more open with each other. Before Ouija's death, there is some great back and forths about using this person, using this Hullen/not Hullen entity. And I thought the arguments back and forth were very good.
Valid.
Yeah.
And the reason why Dutch wants to be in the lead, it makes a lot of sense. But watching the episode, I was just like, well, it's not going to work the first time. So they're not going to put all three of our main characters on that first ship.
There's the point about why this war is happening. Dutch is saying it's her fight. It's her family. This is her responsibility. And as has been the case many times over, it is no longer about her. It has broadened out. It's literally affecting all of the characters. It's affecting the system at large. And it no longer can
all
just be...
of humanity at this point, Dutch.
Yeah.
And like all life in the universe, potentially. Like, you gotta have a little perspective.
And the phrase "hero's gonna hero" is brought back up in this episode, and that's something that Zeph has learned from Dutch and Team Awesome Force, but Dutch is somewhat unable to let other people do that.
Yeah.
She says that she
relinquishing control. She is still very much approaching it more as an assassin.
A lone wolf.
And that is something that we saw her reckon with more directly last season when she gave up being the general.
Ouija, a character that we've grown fond of during the season, dies very unceremoniously as well.
He's just cannon fodder.
Yeah. It is a rug pull. he gives us his "I'm your guy," and the music swells, and then he is obliterated just like that. And you find out that it was pointless as well, that it didn't need to happen the way it did. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, because you knew that obviously this character wasn't going to make it. There's something about the character, but the way it was done, you were surprised by.
I wasn't surprised that he wasn't going to make it to the end of the mission. In a similar way that I didn't think that Pip was going to make it off the rack at the end of the episode either. But with Weege, it was the abruptness of it. It happens, it's accepted, we use the information, we move on. But the show still lets us know the emotional impact that has, particularly on Turin. And we see how it weighs on him and how he's trying to ignore or downplay the impact that is having on him because he can't afford to be emotional.
He's a leader. He has to make the calls. And I both love and hate that, because it feels appropriate for what this episode is and for the mission itself, that we lose someone early in the episode, we mourn them, but we have to move on. We have to keep going with the mission. If we get too tangled up in our emotionality, it ruins the stakes of the story in a way, because they're supposed to be in a crunch. And I also appreciate, and I think you do as well, any opportunity to give Turin depth rather than to make him a fuckhead is welcome.
Yes, absolutely. But the loss of Weege also feels deliberate, because it's like, well, we've lost Weege, so we're not going to lose anybody else this episode.
Interesting.
It feels a little bit mechanical in that way too, because it isn't typical of Killjoys to do that. Usually the person kind of gets their moment.
Yes, and he was supposed to have his moment, and then he is cut down. We've made this character. He's had a little arc in the background, one that you didn't expect. When he first came back, you were like, oh, they're still using this character. That's nice.
Because I was like, isn't this Fancy's job?
But they figured out to use this little side character to explore things that we maybe aren't able to explore with our main cast, and I'm always welcoming of that. And it was just a nice minor character. And why I mention, like, I both love and hate the unable to address it element is it makes his death at the beginning feel more like a comedic subversion of expectation type thing. Like, you thought you were gonna have a little journey with him, didn't you? Well, you didn't. Fuck you.
It made me wonder if I was meant to be as attached to Weege authentically as I was. I'm like, am I not meant to care about him? Am I meant to just find him funny but not actually give a shit about him? Or am I meant to only give a shit about him because Turin does?
I'm sorry you lost your Weege.
Just tear the goddamn shield down so we can bring the goddamn kids home.
Is it a case of the character grew into something beyond what the script was? The combination
Maybe.
of what the story has been, this actor's performance, what it does for Turin's character. I wonder if it's like, we have this idea of this certain type of character and how they would end.
Yeah.
And the character has blossomed in a way, but I don't want to sound too downbeat on that because this is the nature of the beast,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They want you to get invested in a character, and then when they suddenly take it away, it upsets you, and that's what it's done.
Yeah.
We're both upset to a level, but we're both wondering to what ends, creatively speaking, thematically speaking, because we said when we were watching this that this is still more emotionally resonant and more deeply explored
Than
than
Alvis.
Alvis's death was. Because when Alvis died, everyone just kind of went, oh, okay.
I do think that maybe the writers and the story editors didn't realize how much having Davin's journey as a dad and Turin's journey as a surrogate father to Weege, as well as to the whole of Team Awesome Force, would it makes it stronger. And I don't know if they could have made those connections before the show was at fully staged development, because it really is all of those parts coming together that make it stronger the way that it is for me. So I have trouble imagining the writer or the story editors being like, oh, this and that go together and it's going to make it stronger here and you're going to feel for Weege because of blah, 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 blah.
And something that I don't like, outside of just emotional gut reaction of they killed a character I was enjoying, I was hoping to see more of, is the thing that killed him we solve in that cult storyline plot that we already don't care for. So it adds extra salt to the wound that Turin's moping around, Weege is dead, for a thing that we really don't feel anything about in the episode at all. It doesn't feel like an imposing threat that we have to overcome. We just go, we wore some silly wigs and we solved it.
Brushed over it, but it annoyed me that they don't see the barrier before, they don't test anything before, and then we magically see it after.
Oh, that's for the audience, though, isn't it?
I know, but it annoyed me, and I'm part of the audience.
Does it? Now, how does this feel for you? Because we've talked about how much of a bonehead of a leader Turin is. They do reveal that the reason Weege died isn't because of himself. It's because of the other Killjoys that were put on the ship. If he went by himself, he would have been alive. Turin killed him inadvertently. And we've talked about in the past Turin's bonehead moves like this always being a frustration. But this I don't find to be in that way. I actually found it pretty tragic on his behalf. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and it sets him up to be nervous about his own leadership next episode, which is a powerful tool for the writers to have at the ready if they choose to use it.
Since this shield is a technological problem, that means Johnny has to do some hacking. And the way
gets his fingies in the Tron world.
Yeah, he puts his fingers in some goo, and he puts his other fingers attached to the Tron world, which is just like digital effects for computers. And he's getting high while doing this because of the mumbo-jumbo reasons, and there's a short time frame he can do it before it starts to kill him. And all of that's fine. It's okay.
Oh, it annoyed me.
I was indifferent about it. It was something for Aaron Ashmore to do in this episode.
There was a specific moment that really turned me on that scene. And it is one that I think if I was just watching the show, wouldn't be concerned about. It wouldn't have given me pause. I wouldn't have been like, hold up a minute. But there was a line that he says, and it stood out to me as a neon sign of dynamic change, plot focus change that is going to happen because he said basically this one thing.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Not a clue.
Okay. Good, because that kind of proves my point a little. It's when Johnny says, I'm gonna step up now. It's been on you to be the sole nerd. I'm here now. I'm gonna step up. So I'm like,
for Zeph, yeah.
okay. So Johnny is going to be back to being primary nerd, which means that Zeph is going to step away for one reason or another.
Oh, interesting. See, no, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's good writing, in all honesty. I think that you need to seed some of these things within the episodes themselves.
You seed, you signpost.
Yeah, that was
but
one
in
where
that
I thought
where
it was.
he's just like, I'm doing this one last job. And I'm like...
Okay. No, I didn't take it in the way that you did in terms of, I guess, more of a hostile reaction to it. No, I think it worked.
Yeah.
I like, with the Johnny stuff, it's just fine. It's just an extent, like, the problem with a character like Johnny sometimes, because he's the tech guy, is we have plots in which he is basically, like he was in the second episode of the show, fiddling with wires for most of the episode, and this is the equivalent of that. Like, we put some doodads on his fingers and he's just saying things are happening. It's not really a story, but it's technically he is doing something. Because everyone's doing something. Everyone's got their little thing that picks away at the main overarching plot of this very episode. Like, we have Zeph and Pippin are really the emotional core of the episode. They're the thing that matters the most. I really like Pippin. I really like Zeph. I like their relationship. And to see it start to mature as well, because yes, they've been having sex before. Yes, they've been flirty before, but there still has been a barrier between them, whether it's one that Zeph puts up or because Pippin is dying. But in this episode, they actually get to know each other, and we get to know more about Zeph in particular.
Yeah. And it clarifies things that you could have inferred, but it matters more that Zeph is saying these things out loud to somebody else, that she is opening up and clarifying who she is and where she's from and what that means for her now. And I think it's interesting to get that further development of, like, it's another character dealing with how they feel about their past. And that is something that we've seen multiple times.
And the fear of judgment. Because she's not clarifying, she's defending her way of life. She came from this and now she does this, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. But Pippin's not expressing any of that. He wants to understand, and he also says, like, hey, I know this is going to be difficult to hear, but think of it from my perspective. You know, this is a lot for me to take in. And she does. She takes a moment to take that in, because they don't know much about each other, but they like each other. And the little bits that they do know about each other have been quick exchanges, and that's it. But this is one in which they are in bed together, they're embracing, and it's just, what's this about? And it reveals to him and to us this deep-seated family baggage and trauma, and she just starts to unload, because you can tell either she's had to defend this in the past, she's had to argue about this in the past, she's had to verbalize this, or this is all stuff that she's held in and she's kind of mentally rehearsed for herself, and now she gets to say it aloud. It's one or the other.
Yeah. And I do feel weirdly proud of her in that moment.
When it comes to their relationship, how have you felt about it, and how do you feel about it in this episode?
I feel like I've enjoyed it the whole way. I like he catches feelings first. Romantic plot. I enjoy the challenge that he is facing with the spider being one thing, but him having the insight and understanding of Zeph to know that it is a problem for her too, and what that means for her moving forward as well, because that gives us insight into Zeph, but also is such a strong indicator of the character growth that Pip has had.
I like it, especially because there's a fun challenge in their romance, which is they are both ego-driven, arrogant people who are deeply insecure. They both are. And they are both looking at each other and finding that insecurity and that depth and that complexity, but also feeding each other's egos and arrogance. Like, that's fun. Like, that's really delightful, because on paper you could say, oh, they're too similar in that way, but they're different enough characters in the way that how they carry themselves in the world, but they do have that in common. And I find that to be one of the enriching elements of their relationship. And it's great because it works for secondary characters.
Yes, because it adds flavor.
You're not going.
I kind of am.
No, you can't go. I'm not.
You're not the boss of me.
I'm not saying that I'm the boss.
La, 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 la,
Hey,
la, la,
listen.
la.
You don't have to prove yourself. I know you're brave.
Yeah, with you. Sure, sometimes. But I think it's about time I tried the whole brave thing solo.
The rack needs to be destroyed because it's been on a reboot, and that means the Hollands will get access to the weaponry. And so they must self-destruct it, but because of reasons that are very TV show-like, a person has to remain on the ship to physically do it, and they will die. And since Pippin is the one that is basically a dead man anyway, he steps up to the plate. He steps up and says, it has to be me. And he knows, we've known the entire season basically that he is going to die. He's going to die.
Yeah. And the acceptance of that has always been stronger on his part than Zeph.
Mm-hmm.
As soon, it really did feel like as soon as he knew, after he'd been turned on by the lady, basically. As soon as he knew what he'd done, he's like, I'm unforgivable. I can't do this anymore. I don't know how to do this now. But then he keeps trying.
He is a coward, but he's also courageous in his way, and he knows what the score is. That's one of the things that I also very much appreciate about him in this series was he was the criminal in their group. Like, he was the con man, the person who knows a person who knows a person, who thinks he's oh so clever. And what I like is, yeah, we make jokes about that, but there are times where that's the case, and it's the case in this in a very tragic way, that the other characters in the room have no way to argue against, and they just go, okay, we're sorry about that, but it is the way it has to be, and you feel for it. And I'm curious to know about your perspective on Pippin as a character, but also his self-sacrifice. Like, did it work for you?
yes and no. Because you can really see it coming. And the moment itself is rewarding, though. And I did have that like little bit of push and pull, like maybe they're not going to, but I did see the writing on the wall, and I was like, no, I don't see anything. No.
Isn't that there, that push and pull?
Yes.
Isn't that there just demonstrating that this was
It's a sign of the quality
purposeful
of the show and the intentionality in which this character death is also done.
Because they do make it clear to you. They're not hiding what this character's journey is going to be. But, and I think this is very, very important because you and I have had, I think, one of our biggest disagreements when it comes to reviewing this show, but shows in general, is does the heft of something get taken away if you can see it coming? And like the artistry of like, is it good setup if you can see the elements there, or is it not? That type of thing. We've had quibbles about that, and I think it's hard to argue that this isn't deliberate, that this isn't purposeful, that this isn't designed. Like his whole entire thing this season has been, you are doomed, you are going to die.
I don't know why you would bother trying.
And just the simple fact of, as you said, you can see the writing on the wall, but you're hoping that they're not going to. You're hoping that they're not going to pull the trigger on that. You're hoping that they're not, because of what reason?
Well, it's because I love Pip.
Exactly. You like him.
I love Pip.
And I think that's something that some shows or some pieces of media kind of forget in a weird way, of like a self-sacrifice or a rug pull death or something rather like that is, I should like the character and actually feel bad even if I know you're going to do that. And it has to be earned too. Like, this isn't a case of like shock death, like we knew it was coming, so there's that. And you like the character because you especially, you've watched a lot of soap operas as well, where like, you know, a character's going to die by the end of it, but how many times has it also been like, it's just kind of bullshit that they're killing this character?
Yeah.
Like,
or they set them up to kill them.
Even with this show, Alvis, great example of, Alvis is a character where his death was a surprise death, but it wasn't really in the grand scheme of things because you felt like they ran out of things to do with him. Well, with Pippin, even outside of the romance, there's elements of you could still use this character in the show going forward. So to take him away has to have a big meaning to it, other than like, oh, the actor can't be here, or we're doing this or this. For us, the audience, we have to be like, oh, I want to see more Pippin because this is an expansive character. We have so much that we could do with him. Why are we taking him away? Because we've got to see not only how dangerous things are, but he's had a character arc. He's gone from coward to self-sacrificing nobleman. Like, he's a noble guy now, Rachel. When you first saw him with his eye mask in the steam bath, do you think this is where we're going to go?
No! And you've alluded to, but it really doesn't feel like they knew that was where he was going. Like, it's not like Lovretta had it in her grand plans.
They liked the actor, and they brought him back, and they just wrote for him. And that's a valid way to tell a story, too.
It's one of the benefits of television.
It's what we liked about Babylon 5, a show that had a big story bible and a grand plan. Sometimes it would go off book because why waste good things that come to you? And Atticus Mitchell is a good actor. He is very funny, and he can be very good at the drama, and they used it for all of its worth in these 2 seasons. And you know it's going to be worth it too, because we like Zeph. That's another thing. We like Zeph. So to see how much this is going to rock her emotionally is also intriguing to see. And unlike with Potter, again, that was another, like, oh, you could see the elements of how that was going to go, but, like, that was a surprise death as well. Like, she got murdered. This is Pippin knows, everyone knows, even Zeph knows. And Zeph is like the audience. She doesn't want it to happen and is resentful of the fact.
It helps you understand her in that moment. There are times where just having a straight up audience surrogate, it works, and that is one of them.
Zeph is a character, like with Pippin, that has just sauntered into this show, and we've got to see her go through so much. And yet, even in this episode, we're getting to see these sides of the character that aren't necessarily new, but they are different to what we've been given in the past. And with her reaction to Pippin's death and her leaving Team Awesome Force, did that hit for you? Did that work for you?
It hit, but it did feel like an echo of Johnny walking away after Porter's death. So it didn't feel like it had as much oomph, and it shouldn't, and it wasn't trying to, but it just made me think of how much harder that one worked.
It's different in the sense
It
that
is.
she actually blames Dutch specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, it being on the inside is different.
And Dutch, for all of her, dare I say, bluster, she can't say anything back. She's like fighting back. She's wiping away tears because she feels responsible for Pippin as well. Like, there's that angle to it of, like, not only is Pippin's death one of a self-sacrifice, but in so doing, it has damaged our team. Not just because they've lost a friend, but now they are turning against each other because of it. Whether that's valid or not, I find it to be understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's very understandable, it's very approachable. That and it does get a good moment to shine. But I don't know why it didn't. I didn't feel it as deeply as I wanted to. And I'm not sure exactly what's holding me back from being all in on Zeph's anger. Because I do feel like she's justified. I think that she's absolutely right to take a breather. And I respect her way of doing it so much more than Johnny's stupid way of doing it.
Of course. What works about it for me is not so much just seeing the actress get to play these high notes of sadness and trauma and anger, but I like that what works about it, especially for me, is how it ties back into the big character flaw that Dutch has in this episode, which is her hero complex. We talked about it, but at the start of the episode, she portrays herself one way, is told to back down because that type of attitude is going to cause problems. And then we see later in the episode, like, that's the case with Zeph. Even though, rationally speaking, everything that played out is the way it should have played out, that does not mean that on that, again, that heart-like level, Zeph isn't going to react the way she does because Dutch has put herself to this high standard.
You know what they say about Team Awesome Force? They say, Dav will take the bullet, John will fix what's broken, and Dutch will bring you home. You were supposed to bring him home.
All right, Rachel, let's talk about that ending. Everything's peachy keen. We're back at the Royal. We haven't been there all season,
No!
really.
It has been a neglected set, Ryan.
Fancy and Bree have had a
Neglected.
good time there, but that's about it. There are some random setup things, like they just casually are like, oh, Davin, we need you to forget about where Jack is, so we've cut out your brain and made a little remnant thing.
All of us. And we're going to destroy that revenant.
Yes.
Ugh.
Remnant?
Revenant?
No, The Revenant starring Leo DiCaprio.
Oh, there's a bear?
Oh, who's the bear in this show? Is it Johnny by default? Pippin, technically? He had chest hair, we saw.
Jared.
We don't know that. We don't know that. We've never
He's
seen
the-
him pop off the shirt.
Yeah, but he's the burliest.
Yeah, but it's
So he's a bear on that level.
You have to have the hair, though.
You're
does have a
always
beard.
judging the hair of these men.
The hair of these bears.
Not bears, according to you.
Mm-hmm.
According to you.
It matters to me as someone with curly hair, and when I was a child, I had long blonde curly hair. I got called Goldilocks, so I think I'm an expert on bears.
I'm not getting into that. I want to get into the ending of this episode where they Freaky Friday Anila and Dutch. And Dutch's response is just like, "Lady, where are you?"
Dutch makes the decision. She makes the brash call of having to do this. She knows that she has to consume the green and that her and Anila will swap. She doesn't tell anyone. She just does it.
Yep.
Because that's Dutch.
Yep.
Hasn't learned a fucking thing.
Not a fucking thing.
So what do you feel about this development?
I think it makes a whole lot of sense, and I don't like it, but I'm not meant to like it.
Raises a bunch of questions.
Yes, and I do wonder how many of them they will be able to get into going into the finale. And it makes me wonder if it's still going to be this kind of situation going into next season.
Yeah, because
it feels like they can't defeat, like they can't, they have the tool to defeat the lady. They have the spore.
it'll kill all the Helen.
I just feel like they can't do that this season, but they might. They might. But I just feel like it's not going to be. They're not going to be able to defeat the lady next episode. That just doesn't feel right.
There's going to be some fun of Anila is in Dutch's body, and she's with the boys, as she lovingly called them. Hello, boys.
No, not her Baker Street boys.
Oh my God, Rachel! Rachel! That's maybe the worst thing you've ever said on this podcast.
What?
Referencing the final lines of BBC Sherlock.
I referenced them before.
But it's worse that you've done it again. If I was English, I should have said, I can't believe you've done this. I'm so disappointed in you. You know what? I rate this episode on a scale of yum being bad and yum yum being good. A yum yum.
Yum yum.
I give it a yum.
Yum.
Really?
No. Like, I don't like it, but it's still a yum yum. Like, it's
Are
not
you-
one of my favorites, but it's a good episode. It's a solid episode.
But you came out not liking it overall.
Yeah.
But you recognize its quality.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, like, is it just, like, it's so interesting with this because I felt like we had a good time while watching it. I still have a good time with it, but it does have its imperfections.
Yeah, like, the things that I dwelled on make me like it less. But those things were done with purpose. And I understand that the consequences of those things are personal to me more than they are about the show.
Rachel, how about you tell us the name of the season 4 finale and what you think will be happening?
I believe it's called Sporageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to
Sporemageddon?
release the spore. And I don't know why it's not going to work in the way that Klein thought that it would. But I feel like it's going to have different consequences.
Any other predictions? This is the finale of the season, and we've got a whole bunch of things going on. So what are
I think
some of your long-term predictions?
Delsayer and Jack are not going to be in it majorly, but will appear. I think they're going to be sidelined.
They want to see Anila.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe.
That's what Delsayer's been working on.
That's fair. Okay. I'm not going to change my prediction because you pointed that out. Though I might be wrong. I was really on the money this episode though.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is going to be some nice play with Anila being Dutch and being sexual, like making jokes about being sexual with Davin or grossed out like by that. Like, I think there's going to be some play there with Anila being sexual in Dutch's body.
Okay.
Something around that. I wonder if Turin is going to... I wonder how Turin is going to deal with the loss of Weege and if that is going to undermine his assertiveness in his own leadership.
He lost the rack as well.
Yeah.
And big final question for you in terms of these predictions. How do you think the season's going to end? They always have some kind of batshit crazy scenario thinking going on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Which member of the team will they have to go rescue next season?
Well,
'Cause
it's Dutch.
They've already done Dutch.
No, but like Dutch is in the green right now,
Mhm.
so I feel like maybe it should be Davin's turn, really.
If they go back to him.
Yeah,
She went in the green last season. That was the end of it.
yeah. But
Yeah.
now she's back in the green.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Interesting. All of this will be explored
And more.
next time on our discussion of Sporemageddon. There's an M in there.
Oh,
So, yeah, that changes everything, doesn't it? But we
a
shall be
swarm
back.
of spores.
So make sure to give that a listen. You can find us on the social medias under yumyumpod or yumyumpodcast, always posting on there. Feel free to chat with us. You can hit us up also at our email address.
yumyumpod@gmail.com. If you're a patron, you get access to a private Discord where you can message us as well.
Get a whole slew of bonus material. We release our stuff early. We have reactions unedited, so you get to see all of the good stuff there. So Patreon, Yum Yum Podcast. It would be greatly appreciated if you could support. If not, make sure to rate, review, and share the podcast around. That would be also very lovely. But to leave us off on, Rachel, to leave us off, Pip gave us the knowledge that he named his penis.
Yep,
Little
Pip
Little Pip.
makes complete sense.
If you had a penis, would you name it?
Oh. At some point, yeah, but I don't think I would stick with it. I haven't named my boobs.
Do women name their boobs?
Some do.
I've never heard of this.
Oh.
Everyone, write in. Do you have boobs and have you named them?